All right, YouTube, it is Cordial Dissident, and I've got one here for you. I don't know why I find these so funny, amusing, or whatever. It's usually when I'm taking my morning shit that I find this stuff, and I'll just say that although it's nothing new, the internet whining, it still never fails to amuse me. So I just figured I'd play this little video and maybe we get some laughs out of it.
White people have had a 400 plus year head start. 400 years worth of generational wealth stolen.
400-year head start. I'm not sure exactly what she's talking about here. I'm assuming it's some form of, let's say, indoctrination about past slaveries and misdeeds that she feels that she's owed for.
From our ancestors, Native Americans, ancestors, mind you, stolen. They didn't earn it, took it. And have
What did they take when you had nothing to give? That's a curious question.
had a 400 plus year head start.
And the Head Start started, if you want to call it a Head Start, it started thousands of years ago. The slow climb up the tech ladder, as you would call it, and the backsliding and the wars, that destroyed knowledge. It is not a 400-year head start. Nobody has a starter pistol in history and it fires off and one group of people get to start trying to achieve things and the others don't. Nobody was holding you back but yourself. Your own people were holding themselves back. So nothing was in the way of black achievement except for black people. At any point in time on that massive continent full of resources, they could have achieved things, but they chose not to do it, or it didn't even occur to them to do it. So this Head Start argument is just retarded.
And generational wealth. And they can't even handle black people having one full generation of bare minimum voting right access. Bare minimum. We ain't even nowhere near the same level what y'all got.
How? How don't they have the same voting right access? Every county has voter locations, and all you have to do is make your way there. Before recently, it didn't even really require a valid ID in most places. So you basically show up and you vote. It's that simple. So how isn't your right to vote as equal as my right to vote? Which in itself shows that this system is deeply flawed, and the fact that somebody obviously that doesn't even have the most bare bones understanding of how the system works gets to vote in the system, and more than likely from the looks of it, the bed sheet on the head or pillowcase on the head would indicate that probably not a actual net contributor to the system, but yet you still get to have a vote on how the system works. That is if you believe that actually voting matters, which is up for debate if you actually ask me about it.
We just talking about voting rights. My grandmother is almost 80. And in her lifetime, she has literally gone from
She is 80 years old and she has probably heard this fucking whining for 80 years. Actually, no, scratch that. She hasn't. Where did the whining come from? It originated probably from this grandmother. So, yeah.
black people hardly having any voting rights, especially black women, to gaining a semblance of voting rights, to now those voting rights being back on the chopping block in one lifetime span. Grandmother.
In my humble opinion, which absolutely means nothing in the grander scheme of things because I have no power. But in my humble opinion, most people would lose their voting rights. The democracy is a joke. It allows the lowest common denominator to be appealed to by the predatory elites, and the whole system becomes hijacked. And so the actual people that make it all work, the backbone of the nation, never actually gets what it votes for or wants. Um, so if it was up to me, there would be a drastic change in how this entire system works, but it isn't up to me. So
This is, oh, it is so enraging. It's giving me goosebumps. And white people, I don't want to hear all in my comments. I'm so sorry that y'all are experiencing this.
ain't nobody sorry. You ain't gonna hear that. You're gonna hear that less and less, I think. White people are tired. We are fed up with the constant whining. You choose not to actually do and achieve for yourself, and then you turn around and you blame it on everybody but yourself.
This is so unfortunate. I voted for Kamala. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see a speck of salt in my comments. I'll delete it. I don't want to see y'all right
These people are openly racist against you, and if you're listening and you're a white person and you do not quite understand yet that there is a significant portion of the black community that not only doesn't like you, but they actually hate you. They see you as the source of all their failures, which they don't actually consider their failures, their shortcomings, but everything that's gone wrong in their life, they see you as the cause of. Um, you should recognize that, white people, and act accordingly. I'm not condoning hating. Um, just raw hatred will get you nowhere. Um, but you need to be aware of the equation, the math of what is going into all this. You cannot have one group of people allowed to openly hate you while you continuously make concessions to them and try to appease them when nothing actually works, nothing actually appeases them. You are just going to continue to lose ground. And trust me, when people like this are the majority or they are in power, they will try to crush you.
now. I don't. I don't care about your condolences. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I'm sick of y'all. I'm so it.
There is a giant continent full of your people, over 1 billion of them. Consider relocating.
Jesus. 400-year head start, and y'all can't even handle. This is just.
Once again, 400-year head start. No, ma'am.
White people that.
So, what she is whining about is says so the Supreme Court is gearing up to gut Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. What could happen without Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act? Well, let's see. So, I went to Grok, our great friend, the AI that supports free speech, and I looked a little into the Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, and basically it's a restriction not allowing the redistricting of districts based on racial grounds that are unreasonable. It also has some power around, or some meanings around, you can't stop somebody from voting because of their race, or place too heavy of a restriction on them, their ability to vote, which, really isn't a thing. But really what this whole case is centered around is the redistricting. So apparently, so as of October 2025, Section 2 is facing a major constitutional challenge in the Supreme Court case of Louisiana versus Callias, I don't know, also So whatever that name is. With oral arguments concluded on October 15th, 2025, the case originated out of Louisiana's 2021 redistricting after the 2020 census. The Republican led legislature initially drew a congressional map with just one black majority district out of six, despite black residents comprising about one-third of the population and overwhelmingly supporting Democrats. Black voters sued under Section 2, arguing the map diluted their voting strength. A federal district court agreed, finding a likely violation and ordering a redraw. The legislator then created a map with a second black majority district. This revised map was challenged by white voters. Good for them, who claimed it relied too heavily on race in violation of the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause, as it allegedly stereotyped black voters' interests and diminished non-black voter interest. A three-judge panel ruled 2-1 against the map, prompting the Supreme Court's involvement. In March of 2025, the court heard initial arguments but remained for re-argument in the June, shifting focus from a narrow racial gerrymandering issue to a broader assault on the Section 2's validity, scope in redistricting. So good for the white people actually firing back for their rights, because blacks absolutely act as a racial monolith. White people need to start doing the same if you want to survive. And so what this is two racial groups, both obviously wanting to assert their power. And finally, it appears that the white racial group is not just rolling over. So we will see how this goes. But it's interesting that we all kind of know that race is a fundamental factor in our politics, but we all try to pretend that it's not. So we will see how this goes. But either way, Crybaby was funny. So, yeah.